Welcome to Guided Spirit Conversations. I'm your host, Marla Goldberg. This podcast has been created with you in mind to acquaint you with some of the most incredible metaphysicians and spiritual leaders from around the globe who have helped others change their lives. In this interactive hour, you will be offered insights and techniques to help you make a difference in your life. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite listening platform. And here we go, on to the show. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Guided Spirit Conversations. I'm your host, Marla Goldberg. And today, just like the other shows that I am so excited to present to you, we have a friend of Guided Spirit Conversations podcast, and I would say myself, and that is Patty Tate, otherwise known as Willow Grace Mystik. And you can check her out at Willow Grace Mystik, and Mystik is mystik.com. It'll be in the blog. You'll find all the links to Patty, but I just was guided to tell you, so here I am. Patty is an educator and consultant. She has built a successful business that educates, informs, and inspires. She has 34 years experiences with students and adults with a master's in adult education and in counseling. Patty offers consultations, workshops, and classes at Willow Grace Mystik, LLC, where she uses her knowledge of astrology to help you recognize your strengths and improve your connections with others. She leads groups, classes, workshops on health, wellness, and to provide people with a path to their authentic self. Her intentions are to help you grow and expand yourself, mind, body, spirit. Welcome, Patty. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me back. Super excited to be here.
Always happy to have you back. And I know before we got on the show, we had a couple of minutes and we were talking about all the cray-cray energy that's going around. So let's dive in and start talking about what is going on and why is everything so challenging right now?
We have many planets stationed retrograde, which means they are slowing down and it looks like a backward motion. And so we have Mercury. Mercury is our planet of communication, and it's forcing us to slow down and revise, rethink, review. Whenever a planet stations retrograde, think of all the words: revise, take a slower path at something, take a second look at it, do it better, go back and finish things that were started. So that is going back over all of your stuff, cleaning out your closets, doing everything, going back over your notes. And you cannot move forward with new knowledge until you've cleaned up and reorganized. And then we have Neptune. Neptune is Mercury's considered the trickster. Well, Neptune is illusions and dreams, and when it's direct, it's absolutely beautiful. It's about, what do you want? What are you dreaming? What's going on? And then when it's retrograde, it's about sometimes being scammed or taken advantage of, or people are not exactly what they seem to be. And so it's having to revisit an area with boundaries. We have to create boundaries. And we have the hardest one is it's going to be Mars. Mars is going to be retrograde until the end of January. And Mars is our drive, our passion, our ambition, and it can be cutting and biting and fiery. And so from now until January, people need to use caution with their words, that they don't, like I've caught myself a couple times where I've said things impulsively, because that's what Mars is. Mars rules the head, and it's firing off a comment without thinking first, and it's out of anger and frustration. And this is a time it's in the sign of Gemini, so your thoughts and your ideas and your communication, and it's about needing to slow down. And we will be removing people, places, and things from our peripheral, and we need to use caution that it's not cutting and biting. Yeah, how we do it.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff is going on. It's intense. It's heavier energy. It's not as light as it was in the summer. Summer was just light and freedom and moving forward, and now it's slow down and
dense.
It is.
It's so dense. And I'm in the Midwest right now, and I can tell you there is such a density here that when I'm back home in North Carolina, it's so different because there's always a heavier energy here to begin with, but it's even heavier.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you're explaining this to me because it was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, there's a lot of energy where people are, and we have our eclipses coming up. We're going to have two major eclipses that are going to be finishing out our year. The last one is we're going to have one at the end of October and one at the end of November, and these are themes that have been going on over the last year. So they will target certain areas of your life for a year and a half and impact or change. They either remove things, they eclipse things in, or they eclipse things out. So they're literally um, saying, you've been stagnant, you haven't changed, you haven't moved forward. I'm going to make you uncomfortable, and I'm going to give you only this path to move forward with. And so for some people, it's a new job, a new relationship, or the ending of an old, or a new career, or a move of a house, but they're always associated with big events, and they don't always happen on the first eclipse. Sometimes it takes the second or the third in the series to happen. So this energy
Wow.
is going to be with us until spring of 2023. So whatever these changes that you're going through, there will come an ending to it and a new beginning, which is good to know that, okay, I'm on the right path. People are being brought into my life and people are being removed, people, places, and things for the greater good. Like that I planned this. I planned this. Yeah.
Wow, that's so much going on.
Yeah.
It makes your mind just boggle. Um, so this is an important time. How do people gear up for all this stuff that's going on? I mean, I know it, I hear you saying slow down,
Yeah.
evaluate, but is there anything else that will help them in this on this pathway while the energies and the planets are doing their thing? So for example, would it be helpful to have a grounding stone with them or tourmaline, black tourmaline for protection,
Yeah.
or things like that? What can people surround themselves with, help them with? Maybe it's prayer. What are your suggestions?
I suggest that people know the three main important signs: your sun, where you shine; your moon, what you need to feel secure and stable; and then your rising sign. I look to my astrology for a theme of the month, and if I know about what is coming, then I can prepare for that. And then with that, I can say, okay, during this time, I now need to I need to take some time out, and I need to take that nice hot bath, or I know that I need to use caution when I'm around other people with my comments, to be not so quick and impulsive. And so I put out my astrology forecasts. I'm working on November. It should be done by the end of next week. That way you have at least 2 months to look forward to, because we're in the middle of September. We're just getting started with what's happening. And then it's going to magnify and build over October, and everybody wanting to gather, wanting to do these things. And the energy is going to ramp up, but it's also going to be a little bit fiery, and it's going to be magnified and deep and intense because we're going to be in the middle of Scorpio season. So if you read your astrology for your rising sign, then it'll give you an idea of the transits for the month ahead of, okay, I'm going to have this full moon. You never charge your crystals on a full moon that's associated with an eclipse. That's static, crazy energy. If you're going to leave your crystals out, or your moon water, or your what you do to bring yourself down and to appreciate the season, whether it be in prayer or meditation, there are certain times when you work for it, like your new moon, unless it's an eclipse. Then you take a break from the work and you just say, I'm just going to let some things slide. I'm going to work with the energy instead of trying to fight against the current. I mean, I think I look at astrology as, how can I take the information and say, knowledge is power. I need to work with this instead of fighting against the undertow that's trying to, pull me back out to sea. I need to say, okay, I know that this is happening, and I need to work with the positive stuff that I know that I have control over. And I know that I am like, I made a couple snarky comments to two people that that I love. And then after it was said, I reminded myself, you're better than this, you're smarter than this, you're nicer than this. This was my lesson. So moving forward, that's what I need to work with, to take a pause before I say something, take a pause before I act.
It's almost like,
yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's almost like
No.
telling people, move forward with kindness.
Yes,
be generous
absolutely.
with your emotions instead of reacting to the, as you would say, fiery side, the
Right.
knee-jerky side. Remember kindness first. And when you take a deep breath and move forward that way, I think it would help in the way you're talking about it. What happens to people who are Scorpios, whether it's moon, rising, or sun, when all this is going on in Scorpio?
So Scorpio, are you a Scorpio?
I actually have, I believe it's a Scorpio. It's Sagittarius with a Scorpio moon and a Leo rising, or a Leo moon and a Scorpio rising. I forget which way it is.
So Scorpio rising. So the eclipses are on the Scorpio Taurus axis. So Scorpio, anything with wherever you have Scorpio and Taurus in your natal chart, that is where the eclipses are literally affecting you. So if you're a Scorpio rising, you are literally going through a new transformation of who am I? And then the opposite would be your seventh house of partnerships or clients or relationships with close people. And it's about who am I? Who am I as I'm changing? How am I evolving? Who is being eclipsed out? And I need to identify what is my purpose. Who am I without my partner? Who am I without this association? It is literally on your first and your seventh. So all about you and evolving and changing, deep feelings and being so intuitive, probably having these prophetic dreams, connection with the spiritual realm of this is where I want to go, but this is not where I feel uncomfortable going in this direction because it's new and I don't know it. And then we have our partnership, our clients, our group of, it's our partnership affiliation, not like large groups, but like your one-on-one. So it could be your significant other or people that you like, people, significant others and people that you partner up with, people that you would sign contracts with, like clients. And that is bringing in new, but also boundaries with the new. And what does the new look like? How is this being evolved? And how is it changing? And knowing that that's happening, those two houses, moving forward, this full moon is really going to reveal, because that's what full moons do. The full moon that's going to be the October, November, it's going to reveal things about people that they just can't keep contained. You will be able to see it. You're going to be able to know it. It's also going to have new beginnings in those areas. So a new beginning in how do you look? How do you act? How do you spend money on yourself? How are you evolving? How are you changing? The first house is literally who you are from when you were a young child to how you are. It's your rising sign, what you're rising to become and what you're rising to be in this lifetime. It's the body that you're in. And if you're Scorpio rising, your intuitions are spot on right now. And this whole year, they have been spot on with people, places, and things. And knowing before anybody tells you. Knowing Scorpio. And then Taurus, anybody who has the Taurus is also, it's either going to be in your first or your seventh, those two. For me, it's in my third and my ninth house. So I know that the areas that are being highlighted are going to be travel, education, foreign people, foreign things, contracts, teaching, learning. That area is expanding and blossoming, and some things are being removed and some things are being eclipsed in. And then you look at all the other planets and you say, okay, this is how it's going to happen. This is how it's manifesting.
Interesting. And my husband happens to be a Taurus Gemini cusp. So he's the 21st of May, I'm the 21st of December. It's
Okay.
very interesting what's going on here. So when we're dealing with this kind of, if I was a client just coming to see you, how do you suggest I prepare for a session with you?
The first thing you need is your exact date, time, and location of your birth. That's important because I create a chart, or every astrologer creates a chart, and it's a wheel, and it's all
Yes.
based on math of it's broken down into 12 houses that are, I do whole house sign, so 30 degrees in each section. So you have these 12 houses, and then the time that you were born gives you the placement of where all the planets were in the sky and below the horizon. If you were born at night, it would still show you the planets that were visible at night, and then the ones that were below the horizon. And they have different types of energy according to where they're located, the house that it's in. Each planet has a role, and each house is where the energy is brought out of. So if you're a sun, is let's see, your sun is in Gemini in the first house. You are a chatterbox and a connector of people, and all throughout your life you're going to be a networker of and connecting thoughts, ideas, learning. If it's in your second house, if Gemini's sun is in your second house, you're going to be into your money, your finances, your value, what you're worth. Your third house is going to be what's closer to home, your family. Your fourth house is going to be your literal home in which you were raised in and what you want to retire in. Your fifth house is fun. So fun to you might be game shows or Sudoku games or anything that reading, technology, gaming, literal gaming. And so it goes throughout every house, and its location gives you another layer of information about that person. So having the exact date, time, and location, and then any questions that you want answered, and they should be about you and not others. You should not say, I mean, like you can say, okay, I want to know about my husband. Okay, well, let's flip it and say, what is your relationship with partnership? Then we look to your seventh house and say, okay, this is what you look for in somebody. This is your moon says this is what you need in order to feel secure. So your astrology can give you insight to your children, to your career, the location that you're going, your health, your things that you want to be doing in life. And it gives you confirmation. And then it also gives you the heads up of things that are going to be happening. And if I know it ahead of time, then I know that I can work with the energy instead of fighting it. I look at it as, if I know that this is going to be a difficult time, I think of it as I'm putting my head down during a snowstorm and I'm just going to plow through, steady. Yeah, so to be prepared with your date, time, and then be ready with notes. And I either can meet in Zoom or I can meet in person depending on where my location is at the time.
And right now you're in Ohio?
I'm in Ohio. I have been traveling a little bit. My daughter lives in Florida, so I head on down there often. And when I'm either out west or around in the area, like if I go to certain events, I try to keep like the before and the after time available so I can meet with clients either like early in the morning or later in the afternoon and keep certain parts of my day free. Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's what, when you're traveling, sometimes you need that, right? So
Yeah.
where do you look in a chart to see the lesson you're supposed to learn in this lifetime?
That is a planet. So we look to our lessons of where is our Saturn. Saturn, back to each planet, gives us something. Saturn gives us our difficult trials and tribulations of Saturn. I think of Saturn as a nun, like that used to teach in the Catholic school with a ruler, not to give him a bad name, or a father figure or a boss. Saturn wants you to do everything the right way and doesn't want anything to be rushed. Saturn wants it to be slow and steady. Take your time, do it thorough. Build it so it will last. You cannot be impulsive. You cannot be wishy-washy. You can't. And so wherever you have Saturn, Saturn says, yeah, I'm going to make you take your time. Yep, you're going to have to do it right. Again, Saturn's the one that when you turn in the paper and you didn't have the best handwriting, they wad it up, throw it away, and say, do it over. It's rough. Saturn, I think of Saturn because it has
Wow.
the rings around it as this is the fence around the yard. This is the boundary that you have to have. And it's, the goat is the ruler. So it's slow and steady to get to the top of the mountain. And you have less air, less food, less daylight. And so that's what Saturn is willing to go without. A little bit of everything for the delayed gratification of something later. And so Saturn's where our lessons are. And wherever you have that in your chart, you look to that and say, that's going to be a lifelong lesson. Okay, I got it. I understand it.
Very interesting. So, where do you find your love language? How do you know that through a chart?
So people look to Venus to find out about, and love language right now has been really popular. People have been talking about gift giving is my love language. Listening is my love language. Touch is my love language. Venus, it literally rules our feelings, what we value. Venus also rules money and resources. And so wherever it lies in your chart, this could be, so I have Venus in I have it in my 11th house in the sign of Cancer. So Venus, what you love, who you love, how you love. Cancer, a very watery, intuitive sign that wants to nurture and care for everybody. In my 11th house of group affiliations or groups that I belong to. And so they are the groups or friends, my friendship circles are like family to me. I nurture and care for them as if they were family. And so you look to the sign, the house, and build on that placement to tell you more about. Do you know where your Venus is?
Do I know?
No? Okay. We're going to have to do your chart sometime.
I
I know
was
we've
just
talked
thinking
about
the
this.
same thing.
We've talked about this in the past, and we're going to have to, okay, so I do couples charts, and I also do business charts. So a couples chart is where I take yours and your significant others, and I put them together, and then I say, these are going to be strengths, and these are going to be areas of weakness. And this is how you need to work around those areas of weakness. I was just working with a couple last week, and their area of weakness is communication. And they're so great with everything, but communication is difficult. So that means they're either going to have to do a lot of texting, they have to have a partnership calendar on their phone so they can stay connected that way. That miscommunication can be through capitalization of the texts or the emails or they need to make sure that they're both on the same page. And how do they go about doing that? I give them suggestions, but the rest is on them. But we find the areas that you struggle with, because the areas that you're going to do well in, you're just naturally going to do well. You don't need help with that. Everybody should look to the area of, this is what I'm weakest in. How do I work with that? And so couples charts, I do business charts so I do a solar return on people of, so I just had a birthday in August and I did my year ahead. And thank you. What is my year ahead going to look like throughout the months, throughout the weeks, and then narrowing it down of, this would be a really good time to launch something. This is a really good time to go within and take a break. This is when I'm going to be focused on money. So you can do that, or you can do, astrology is so many different things, so many different avenues.
I just heard about medical astrology, and as much as I've been in things, I have not known that there was something specific to medical astrology.
There is. Yeah.
Is that in your wheelhouse as well?
So I do not do medical astrology as much as I know. I give that to somebody else. But in astrology, each sign rules a part of our body. So remember when I said, somebody who is Aries, it's the Aries is literally the top of the head. So They're more prone to head injuries. They dive in first. We have a Taurus, your throat chakra, speaking your truth. So somebody who has a lot of Taurus energy, or their sun or their rising, need to work on speaking their truth. Or if they have problems, there'll be throat problems. Like
So
I'm a
throat cancer would, because we're talking about Taurus, throat cancer would be a
in
sign
that
of
wheelhouse. Not
interesting.
speaking your truth. And yeah, I mean, you can literally take it back to your sixth house of health, and where is, like, what are these signs? What are they showing you? And yeah, my husband is going through, there are several planets right now in his sixth house of health. He's having his eclipses. Remember how you're having yours in your first and your partnership? He's having his in his sixth and his 12th. Well, the sixth house is health, well-being, spiritual, mental, physical health, well-being, and your service to others. He's had 2 surgeries. Like, normally he's
Wow.
healthy as a horse. I know, gallbladder, and then like he tore his hamstring. We moved in the middle of COVID and tore his like, how do you do that? That's a huge, and so the recovery,
So painful.
we know that he will be doing, we know that they'll be moving on to a different house next spring. So I'm like, okay, get it all out of your system, work through these health issues, get good, healthy, solid foundations in order to move forward with, and then he'll be on to new lessons.
So as the planets move and they change
Yeah.
houses, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm doing this correctly, so does that mean at some point everybody will have something in the sixth house to?
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely. So
okay.
because you do have empty houses, like we have empty houses. And so the transits are literally as the planets move around the chart. So the sun makes an entire year. The moon goes into a different sign every 2 to 2.5 days. So not all the signs will hit every house, but you will have Mars, Venus, the moon, the sun, Mercury, because Mercury goes around many times. So they access all those houses, and they affect what goes on with you now and into the future. They set up these things that, like, we're in Mercury retrograde. These problems that we're having now are a continuation of things that were not finished before. So they
When you
hit
say
specific
before,
years.
the last Mercury retrograde, or are we talking
Yeah.
about just before in general in our past that we just haven't dealt with? Like
No,
lessons we
this
haven't
whole year.
learned. Okay.
Yeah, so this year we've had 3 that have started off in the earth sign and then ending up in an air sign. And so it's about, I have an idea, or I have this, I know what I need to do. I have the idea. How do I make it happen? And I need to go back and fix these things. So for example, I created some classes, and now I'm like, yeah, I didn't think about that. Now I got to go back and revise it. I need to fine tune it before I push the information out there. It literally is a theme of those 2 areas of your chart. So we can literally look at your chart and say, these 2 houses are going to be affected, and this is what you need to do to move forward with.
Wow.
Does that
That's
make, like, we can get
it,
specific about these are the areas of, yeah.
it does. So you're going to be at a Star Knowledge Conference in South Dakota coming
I
11/11.
am.
I love the date. I love that they chose the 11/11
Yeah.
portal to do this. Do you give us some details and information about this conference, what you're going to be doing, what they can expect if they attend, and
I
we're
would
in South
love,
Dakota.
yeah, I would love if people could make it to this, because um, this is about bringing Indigenous elders, wisdom keepers, visionaries, bringing together their thoughts, their ideas, their knowledge of Earth, Sun, ascendant realms, the future of humanity, Mother Earth. How do we bring this all together with movers and shakers of the world? And so Nikki Zephyr, she's putting this together. There is, it's called Star Knowledge 11/11. It's on Facebook. I know that don't know the website for it, but I know that it's called Star Knowledge 1111 Gathering, and it's in Wagner, South Dakota, and it's going to be at it's there's a casino because it's on the property of, so people can stay
Okay.
at the
So it's a
casino.
reservation
Yeah,
hotel.
yeah,
You
on the
said?
reservation. And then they're going to have different speakers and drumming and raising the vibration. And there's going to be vendors, and it's about bringing in all these different um, ideas into one place to let's leave with something. Let's leave with something share. Whenever you have a gathering like this, it's not about bringing in the knowledge only. They believe in bringing in the knowledge, sharing it with everybody, and taking it and expanding upon it elsewhere. And there's going to be so many great speakers and singers, and the dancing, and it's going to be real. It's going to be really good. I'm truly excited about it. I'm going to be there for the duration of it. It's from it's a 3-day. So November 11th to the 13th, and super
Nice.
excited about that. Yeah.
I wish I could
Yeah.
be there. I'm heading off to Mexico on the 13th. So maybe next year I can
Next year.
join. That would be, it sounds amazing because they
Yeah.
bring the whole shamanistic
Yes.
perspective with
Yes.
the metaphysical, with world knowledge, so that you can have takeaways to take with you to incorporate in your life. That's how I'm hearing what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah. I met Nikki at the Serpent Mound for the Spring Seed Equinox conference, and so they had I have a healing pyramid, so I brought my healing pyramid there and offered it as, we had drumming and there was music and meditation, and then I met Nikki through there, and the belief again is take it, share it, expand it. And then she contacted me, and I'm like, how could I not go? I mean, I am super excited about it, and connecting with other people that are of not the same thoughts and ideas, and saying, I like that, because we are similar but different in our thoughts, in our beliefs. And they are the shamans, they are the wisdom keepers, they're the wind talkers. Yeah.
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 It sounds so powerful. It truly sounds amazing. And I was just talking to a client about drumming circles yesterday, as a matter of fact, and how it raises the vibration. And it's
Yes.
so powerful. On top of being fun, especially
Yeah.
if you're participating with the actual drumming piece, but how you end up walking out just like floating on a cloud.
Yeah. So they believe that the drum is the earth, and the beating is the heartbeat of Mother Earth.
Mhm.
And so you are connecting on a soul level with everybody that's
Mm.
around you, and raising your vibration, raising everybody else's vibration, and leaving. I love a good drum circle. When I travel, I look for my labyrinth locator, so I can always walk a labyrinth somewhere, and I look for drum circles that are near me. And yeah,
Is that an app? Labyrinth
it is
Finder?
labyrinth locator. You've got to look for that.
Oh
It's
my
a thing.
God.
Some of them are in like people's backyards, and it'll say in this person's backyard, they have a lot of property. Call ahead of time. Here's the number. Or at this park, or at this church, and so it's a thing. Labyrinth locator. So whenever I go to a new area, I click in my zip code of where I'm at, and I reserve a little bit of time for me to sink in, meditate, and feel the energy of that area, because a lot of them have crystals and stones that connect to others. That was part of my speech at the Serpent Mound. I was trying to explain the ley lines that are, the energy lines that are underneath the Earth's surface, and that how areas are connected to other areas. I mean, everything is energy. And if you can connect from one to another, that's what makes you feel good. Like, that's why certain buildings are built on top of certain places. So yeah, when you go down to, you're going to have to let me know that labyrinth locator. Let me know if you find one there.
I'm going to, because oh my God, I love the idea of finding a labyrinth and doing the walking and just getting inside. We're such
Yeah.
external people
Yeah.
as humans, and the external is the stuff that really I think will mess you up more than going inside because
Yeah.
the influences from the outside, but it gives you a chance to go inside. And it's almost like renourishing those parts of you that you've forgotten need nourishment. It's
Yeah.
like you take things for granted.
Yeah. And it's healing. It's you being vulnerable and walking it, meditating. Sometimes they have a little placard that'll say, there's so many petals on this, and at each petal, take a moment, think about this, like hope or love, and so you walk it and it gives you a chance to tap in and tune in to self, because I find that the busier I am, the more I need to pause, breathe, and live in the moment. I mean, be in the moment. Yeah.
And being in the moment is not an easy thing for humans. It just isn't. Again, we have so much outside stimuli, and then our
Yep.
brains just don't want to stop sometimes. So making that effort to just even slow deep breathing will help you slow down your mind and
Yeah.
allow you to give yourself the space and grace to receive outside. When I say outside stimuli, I'm talking about spiritual stimuli,
Yeah.
able to bring that in. Because
Yeah.
if you're in your head all the time, you can't get any messages. You
Right.
can't get the guidance.
Yeah, the internal dialogue that and you cannot give to others if the cup is empty. I reserve a little bit of time for myself. I hit up my chiropractor, who I absolutely love her, and I will go in and say, I just need a tune up, because I cannot give Reiki or energy work to anybody else if I'm empty. And so she takes the time, attunes me. Then when I leave, I am in my best to then give to others, because as healers, we have to make sure our cup is filled in order to give back to others. I mean, that no sleep, or the confusion, the chaos, the voices, the constant phone, the text, the email, it's hard, and you want to be everywhere, but you have to take the time to say, I'm just gonna walk this labyrinth. I'm gonna take a few minutes for myself for this nice hot bath, and I'm gonna sink in and release things that are difficult.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah,
And there was something I was going to say about taking the time to, oh, it's your oxygen mask. It is your oxygen mask. When
it
you take
is.
care of you, that's you
Yeah.
putting on your oxygen mask because you can't help anybody
Nope.
unless you're fully nourished mentally, emotionally,
Absolutely.
spiritually, physically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so many people go around half nourished and think like they're going to be able to give quality effort to whomever they're working with. And it doesn't make a difference if you're a metaphysician or if you're just not awake yet. You have to be nourished to be able to
Yeah.
give
In
to the
order to
people.
in order to care
Yeah,
for others, you first have to, and as women, we struggle with that, because we are the ones that give birth and then care for others. And so it's hard to, for some people, it's not hard, but I literally, because I'm a Virgo rising, I schedule in self-care, because it just doesn't come easy or natural. And I will say, nope, I'm taking this time off, and I'm going to go to this festival. I'm going to go to this fair. I'm going to go to a drumming circle. Yeah, or I'm going to connect with these friends. Yeah. Yeah, you have to schedule it in.
you do. I mean, and if you can't do it, like I try to get mine in first thing in the morning, and
Yeah.
then I'm done. But
Yeah.
it's like yesterday was one of these. I had to be out of my house at 7 a.m. and I'm rushing all day long, and I have this process I need to work on and my
Hmm.
meditation. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you didn't get it in this morning. You're going to get it in before dinner. So
Yes.
I was able to carve out that time. But then I just feel like I'm breezing through my meditation. And but you know what? My feeling is you give what you can give. You give the
You give
time
what
you
you
can give
can.
it, and then don't beat yourself up. Know that you've
Yeah.
done the best that you can.
Yeah.
So I have to
Absolutely.
say, Bridget's also excited about downloading the Labyrinth app.
Oh, good.
So
You will
thank you,
love
Bridget.
it. And then you're going to find out, like, oh my gosh, there's one here, or there's one here. And take a crystal and put one here and connect it to like another place, and it's literally it feels so good, and yeah, they're beautiful, and they're of all different sizes. Yeah,
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 which is incredible. But
yeah,
it gets done, right?
yeah.
It's charity shout out time. So let's talk
Yes.
about your charity. I love charity shout out time. And yours is the Appalachia Service Project.
Yep.
They offer mission trips in the
Yeah.
Appalachia.
So they're at the Appalachian. They call it Appalachian, like throwing
Appalachia.
Appalachia. And so the Appalachian Service Project, ASP, I was doing mission trip work once a year for a week there were 3 churches, the Doylestown United Methodists, the Doylestown Catholics, and the Copley Catholics. And they were all coming together, and they still do. It's just that I did not do it during COVID. Everything kind of got shut down. And so for
Everything
1
else,
week
yeah.
out of the year, they will gather adults and teens and then the goal is warmer, safer, drier. And so they have fundraising events. I will call friends of mine and say, okay, we're going to the chili cook-off and we're going to be bidding on the desserts. So bring your money because it raises the money. And then when we go there, you're putting on a tin roof, you're putting in new windows, you're putting in new flooring. Everything is warmer, safer, drier for the people who do not have the ability to either do it for themselves or they're in a situation where they cannot. And so the ASP, they schedule it for the summer, and they have projects that are always going. And so we are usually like the second or third group that goes in. The first group usually digs like the French drain because everybody lives on a hill, and puts in the pipes and puts in the gravel. So now the water is running away from the home. And then the second group comes in and tears out the flooring and puts on a new roof. They do everything metal roof. That's hot. Yeah. So metal roofing, and then windows, flooring, handicap. We do a lot of handicap bathrooms and handicap access to get into the house. So look them up. They're an amazing group of people that are selfless. We generally stay in a church or an old school that's no longer being used, and they have a couple rooms with bunk beds, and people come in to cook, and you're there to work for a week and then be of service to others, to give back. And they are an amazing group and then the families that you meet. I still stay in touch with several of the families today that I've met over the years. So it's nice to have that connection. Yeah.
So, and you can find that at asphome.org.
.org.
So
Yeah.
check them out, see how you can do it. Help people stay drier, safer. What's the third one?
Warmer, safer, drier. They come in, and the goal is so you have everybody deserves warmth and to be safe. Warmer, safer, drier. Yeah. Security.
And when you're in the mountains, it gets really cold up there.
It does. It does. Yeah.
Really cold. It's surprising. Like I go to the mountains of the Blue Ridge Mountains in Georgia, and I forget because you think of Georgia as being so warm.
Yep.
But then you go up to the mountains, it's like, oh, I've brought the wrong coat. I'm freezing my butt off.
Yep.
So I certainly understand that. But people who don't know the mountains don't realize just how the weather is up there.
Everybody should visit the mountains. Like you should go to the mountains, and then you should also go to the beach to know the difference between the different types of energy. I love the mountains. I love I love fall. Like we're coming into, but I also love the beach. I love to walk with my feet in the sand and the water, and it's a connection, and to be able to release and let go. So each one is a different type. And for some people, they've never left the mountains, and it's beautiful. Their families are there, but to get out and experience the mountains, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the idea because water just amplifies energy. So if you're raising your energy and you're by the water, woohoo, have a good old time. It feels great.
Yeah.
And there's so many resources in the mountains that people don't even realize they're there. Many do, but a lot don't. So the place I go to sits on a copper and silver mine. and it's
Ooh.
on a vortex.
Oh, okay. Like on a ley line crossing, a vortex of yes.
Yeah, and it's on the border of the Cherokee Reservation land.
Oh,
So it's highly, highly powerful energy. And
yeah.
it's like coming home. You know, it's like one
Yes.
of these things like I can't wait to go there because it feels like home. But then of
Yes.
course I went like, okay, I've had my fill, now I have to go home. I can't
Right.
wait to go back and be by the water.
Yeah.
Makes a huge difference.
It does. And unless you well, and when you're depleted, you need it more than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a meditation that I'm doing, and at one point there's two points in the meditation where you go for replenishing in water. You
Yes.
know, one is in one area, and then you go with dolphins, and that is to help replenish your heart, the
Yeah.
broken, cracked, fractured pieces that we walk around with, to
Yeah.
try to bring them into wholeness. It's just beautiful, and water does it.
It does. It does. I mean, everybody should find a little bit of something that helps heal because we walk around, we walk around wounded and we need to heal ourselves so we can help heal others, raising the vibration.
It is.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be a metaphysician to help others. You don't have,
No.
just a
No.
kind word could heal someone. Looking someone in the eye and smiling as you're passing could be so healing for them.
Yeah. A compliment, a real compliment to like
Yeah,
look 'em, so people just want to be seen and heard and to know that they're valued and
acknowledged.
appreciated. And that does not cost money. Those
Yeah,
things are of more value than any kind of currency that you have. That's my kind of currency.
I like that kind of currency too. I
I do
mean, it
too.
truly is. Like I step out, it's always really important for me to live my life moving in kindness, in a day to day. And if I don't, because if I stumble, I'm a human being,
Yeah.
figuratively and literal, that I stumble, I go clear delete, or I send out my apologies, send out
Mm-hmm.
forgiveness so that I can move forward, whether, how do I say this? I move forward being me and living my beliefs rather
Right.
than whether somebody
Right.
else accepts it or not, that's on them.
Right. Yeah. It's living your most authentic life, doing the best that you can. And your tribe is going to find you. But I also believe in sending it out to others that are in need,
Well, and it's like
connecting.
call it, yeah, it's like the ripple effect, right? So if you send out
Mm-hmm.
healing to those who need it, even
Yeah.
if you say, like in a prayer, you could say, and send out love and healing to those who need it. Just that blanket statement makes a huge ripple effect into the ether,
Yes.
which affects
Yeah.
everyone. So, and it
Yeah.
all builds down that way. So we've talked about a lot of things. What have I not asked you about? What have we not talked about? Do you have any classes coming up? Um, are you doing something for
I
the
haven't,
holidays?
yeah, I haven't released it. I'm going to release the class after Mercury retrograde. So I'm going to be offering a class in January for astrology again. And I'm working on an oracle deck. I'm so excited
Ooh,
about that. It will not be released. Nothing is going to be released until after this retrograde season. So I've looked at my chart and said, okay, this is a better time to release some things. So I do have an oracle deck that's going to be released. I have starting in January. January is going to be just moving forward with a lot of things. It's like, okay, now we're going to start to get our momentum back. And so I'm going to have classes and workshops then. And right now I'm sinking into the fall because October is my busy season, with the tarot and astrology, and then
yeah.
people get busy with November and December. So I sell a lot of gift cards. Then people will say, "Oh, I want to get a gift card for this person for their birthday or for Christmas," and so I have the gift cards, and then everybody redeems everything January on, so it makes it nice.
Right. Like I always like to get a birthday something, like a
Yeah,
birthday reading. But my birthday's in December, so it's like, okay, tell me what's coming up.
yeah,
Opposed to something mid-year saying, okay, now, it's always what's coming up
yeah,
or how to deal with something. It just is, for the people who like to start their year with a reading,
yeah.
give me
And
some information so I know how to plan my year.
So you know how, yeah, absolutely. And it's a gift that is not just going to sit on the shelf. When people buy a tarot or astrology reading or consultation, this is about gaining information, gaining knowledge that they might not otherwise have known, or it adds another layer. And I have a lot of people who gift themselves as a part of, like they gift themselves their solar return. They want to know, okay, let's talk about the year ahead, and what's going to be in store for me. And around their birthday, either like, just a few weeks before, a few weeks after, they schedule a time and say, okay, let's do this. Let's move forward with my look ahead, a peek. Yeah.
I love that. So reach out to Patty now for your holiday
Yeah.
gifts because they're great stocking stuffers.
They are. They're great. It's a great gift that you can give to somebody. So the gift certificates, they come with it goes right to their email, but it has you can write on it like, from so and so. Thank you very much. Blah, blah, like you can personalize it, and then it gets sent to them. Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. I don't know anybody who wouldn't want information about themselves.
No.
Even those who have been brought up in a sect that frowns upon it, people always want to know what's going to happen to them. What's their future
Right.
like? What do they need to look forward to? Or what do they need to prepare to deal with because of the way the planets are landing in your houses?
Right. Like what's going to be going on in the near future. And then you just don't think you're crazy. Like there's a lot of stuff that's going on. Like somebody will reach out, this is what's going on in my relationships. And then I pull up their chart and I'm like, whoa, okay, that's totally expected. And then when we start talking about it, because I usually do everything cold without, knowing a lot, then they're like, okay, it's not me. I'm not going crazy. And this is what I should be working towards, or I should work to accept this instead of fighting it. I'm like, yep, you should. It just makes it a lot easier.
So much easier. And let's use the word consultation. It's
Yeah.
like you're not just giving them information, but you're helping them. And tell me if I'm incorrect, because you can. But you also are helping them how to maneuver through these energies
Yeah.
and what's coming up. Like how suggestions on how they
To
might
work
want to
with
change
it.
their communicate right, change
Mhm.
their communication style, or ways to look at something that may have, because everything's duality. Even though it
Yeah.
might sound like it's like, oh, so negative, there really is an opportunity in every one of these situations.
And free will. Because the lessons are cyclical. If you choose not now, it will come back around. So it's okay. It's okay. It's your life. It's your lesson. It's your choice. You have free will, and you set it up that it'll just swing back around. It's going to be okay.
It always does, right? Whether it's
Yeah.
this lifetime or future incarnations, if you
Right.
don't deal with it in the immediate present, then you get the gift of it coming back to you to work on. I
Yes.
don't
You
know
get
how else
that
to look
gift.
at it.
Yeah.
But everything is to me, so I look at everything that's going on as a lesson, opportunity, gift, or a combination of. And
I do
I'm
too.
always, it's so good to hear that because
I do.
I look through all these situations and it's like, okay, what's in it? Why is this coming to me?
Yeah.
How do you,
When something happens, I will look to it and say, okay, what was my lesson? What did I learn? And now I need to move forward with the knowledge of, I was gifted this opportunity to learn something, and now I need to move forward with this knowledge. Absolutely. Okay, and I think that comes with age. I don't know. I know that when I was younger, I would get like angry about a lot of things, but like things are not going your way, and this, that, and the other. But the older I get, the more I look at, we have one chance right now, and we need to be the best people that we possibly can and make the best choices that affect others in positive ways. And if something, because we cannot have everything, there is no growth unless we have difficulty. Like if everything's peachy keen, we learn
right?
nothing. It's with those difficult lessons that we stretch ourselves and we learn and we grow from. If I wouldn't have had those two moments that I was snarky to a friend and snarky to my husband, I wouldn't have had that, oh my gosh, I said to this person, my mouth was bitter and biting, and I snapped, and they took it this way. That's not how I meant. I need to beg forgiveness. I need to move forward with this because that's not me. That's my growth. I now keep it in the back of my mind. So whenever something like that happens, I have a choice. I can either be snarky again, or I can grow and learn and be better and maybe bite my tongue or word things in a better way.
Address it with kindness. Yeah, but this
Yeah,
awareness that we get, I mean, only gives us more ammunition. I want to address when you said, I don't know if it's because I'm older. Here's the difference. When you were younger, you didn't have the information you have today,
right.
which that's why for me, like the goal is like, it doesn't make a difference how old you are, but
Yes.
the earlier you start down your spiritual path and starting to bring in these beliefs, these ways of thinking, behaving, etc., the better your life is going to be moving forward.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it from what you said, you like myself, we learned a little bit later in life. Now, the good news
Yeah.
is we learned better
We
late
learned.
than never. But if you can catch these things earlier, you just get a
Yeah.
better handle on your life and you go through life with ease and grace in a way
Yeah.
you can't do when you don't know.
Right. And this new generation coming up, they're so open with their thoughts, their ideas. They're just like sponges soaking it in. And they're not living within the rigid confines that we had. And it's amazing and it's beautiful. And I see things changing and evolving at breakneck speed to be different into the future. And to know that we were part of that. We were the trailblazers, and now you create the path so that the younger ones can come through and make it better. Make it better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Patty, thank you so much for coming back on the show. I love our conversations. I love having you back. And it's always like in this time of year, I feel, I
Yeah.
could be wrong, but so grateful each and every time. And so please check out Patty's website at Willow Grace Mystik, and Mystik is MYSTIK.com. Reach out, set an appointment, get your gift certificates, and check out the what is it, the Soul Knowledge Star Knowledge event in
Yeah.
South Dakota, because it
Yeah.
sounds really amazing. And if you're like up for a road trip, what a great way
Join
to
us.
not only have people peeper season, but you have such a shamanistic experience, which
Yeah.
is phenomenal. So again, thank you, Patty. I want to thank Bridget each and every
Yes.
day. All you do for me, right hand, left hand. I can't say it enough times. Thank you. I want to thank you, the listening audience, for taking time out
Yeah.
of your life and out of your day to be a part of the show, whether you're listening to it live or you're listening to a replay. So grateful for you coming and being a part of this, because this is done from my heart to yours to bring you amazing people like Patty, her amazing abilities, her modalities, and that's to give you tools for your life moving forward. So, as we talked about a few minutes ago, so you can start working on your path earlier so you can have more space and grace for flow in your life. So, thank you. Please join me next week as I have Anita Kimbler. I just want to make sure that this is the right name. Um, yes, Anita Kimbler, psychic medium healer, and we're going to talk about what she does, how she got her start on her path, and how she can work with her clients, aka possibly you. So tune in next Thursday, 12 noon Eastern Time, YouTube of the same name, Guided Spirit Conversations, Facebook. If you like the show, like it, subscribe to it so you don't miss one exciting episode. Also, if you have a suggestion or a comment about a modality or a person, please email me at guidedspiritconversations@gmail.com or marla@mghealer.com so that we can see about getting them on the show for you, and to accomplish having them exposed to all of you out there. Okay, as I leave you, as always, oh, I forgot about me. Check out my website at marlagoldberg.com. And Goldberg has two R's. And see what I do and see if what I do resonates with what your needs are. I'd love to work with you. I'd love to talk to you. I offer a 20-minute complimentary evaluation. And so feel free to reach out. Now I'm going to leave you by sending you love, blessings, and gratitude. Know how grateful I am that you're in my life in whatever capacity you're in it. Because not only am I your teacher, I am your student. And not only are you my student, you are my teacher. And that's how this works. So thank you. If you haven't heard these words today, saying them to you again. No, I'm saying them to you for the first time, or I'm saying it to you for again, and that is, I love you. You are loved. You are always loved, and know that you are never alone. Even though sometimes we feel so solitary and abandoned and nobody's around, but that's not true. We have so many beings on the other side of the veil who are our cheerleaders, who are conspiring on our behalf. The only thing is, as Patty mentioned earlier, they don't have free will. So you need to call them in and ask for what you need. If you do it in voice, there's a louder vibration. They hear you either way. It's just the level of decibel in the vibration. So call out to them what you need so they can start working on your behalf. I look forward to you being a part of the show next week. Until then, stay well. I love you. Take care.